Somebody's asked about banning Mut'ah. Look, I will do a detailed discussion on Mut'ah on another occasion, but Mut'ah is not haram, in my understanding. Mut'ah is if a person was to have a a low level, low commitment, let's say, relationship. It is obviously it's going to be it's going to be a sexual relationship. It's not going to be it's not going to be like I know अब इस रिश्ते को क्या नाम दें I know मामा और भांजा uncle and nephew. That's not what I mean. So Mut'ah is basically a temporary marriage. There's nothing, in my understanding, and this is in line with great scholars like Ibn Ashur, who's a great Maliki legend of the 20th century and a mujtahid in his own right. Him and other people of recent times. There's a Maliki scholar in Morocco who's authored a great book which I've got here somewhere. It's called Mut'ah Qira'atun Jadida fil Fikr Sunni. That it's a revised reading of the Sunni tradition, of the Sunni perspective on Mut'ah. And it's very interesting because when you analyze the actual concept of Mut'ah and you look at things like the hadith that allegedly prohibit Mut'ah, they are very contradictory and they don't seem to stand. Now I get the fact that people, I get the moral argument, I do get that. But in all honesty, the way I see it is, if it's two adults who, between themselves, you know, have an agreement on what they're doing, who gives a damn what other people think? You know, that's my perspective on these things. I do think that there's a lot of loaded kind of emotion against Mut'ah, which is based on the anti-Shia sentiment. So because Sunnis in general will obviously not like the Shia, and the Shia have become known for the concept of Mut'ah because they defended it, so the Sunnis have really hated on the concept of Mut'ah and they've ridiculed it and they've made all these kind of insults about it and stuff like this. But in all honesty, you know, the Sunnis themselves, we, in all our books of tradition, they say things like, oh, an-nikah bi-niyat al-talaq is fine. You know, that you can marry someone and in your mind, without telling her, you know, intend to divorce her shortly after. And Ibn Abdul Bar, who's a great Maliki legend, you know, Mujtahid, in his Istithkar has a thorough discussion on this, saying this is absolutely permissible according to almost the outright majority of all Sunni scholars. So, and I would find that problematic. That, you know, that has a level of deception, I would feel. But Mut'ah, at least they both agree. They think that, look, fine, you know, this is how, it's just a short-term experience. It's just a, it's just a, what do they call the, you know, when you catch a bus, you have the day saver. Just a day saver pass. Just a few hops. That's what they call it, I think, on on buses when you're catching a bus, right? So, but this is by if it was mutual understanding. Remember, this is not to say, oh, people need to do this, but if people wanted to do this, who's to say it's haram? And I feel that it might even provide some part of a solution in the modern problem of whether a couple, Islamically, whether a couple are even compatible. So let's say a couple were to, because nowadays compatibility, how do you even know compatibility? And, you know, an absolute spanner in the works is sexual compatibility. How do you know that? So there's a solution, I think. Right, so maybe I should open a website offering mut'ah, and so all people could kind of get on there. It could be like a mut'ah mut'ah bureau. Your pass expires. You can buy a pass, and it expires within a certain days. Within. Ah, well, cool. But look, I don't see the big deal because nobody's, people that get worked up about mut'ah. One, if I'm going to be honest, I think that they're just jealous against the Shia. I'm just going to be honest. I think they just hate on the Shia because of one, sectarian hate, and two, because they're just jealous that they wish they could do it. Three, I think, look, from the Sunni perspective, there's so much evidence that it's not haram. And it's very difficult to prove it haram. So, and the fourth most important point is nobody's saying you have to do it. Nobody's saying you have to do mut'ah. If a person wanted to do it, a dumb thing that people say, and the Salafi, this scholar I spoke of, this Maliki contemporary, his name is Ibn al-Azraq, and he has a debate on YouTube about this with Sheikh, what's the Salafi Moroccan scholar, Sheikh Fazazi, but anyway, he's debating him, it's on YouTube, about mut'ah. And then that Salafi Sheikh says, and this is the dumbest of things. Oh, okay, if you believe mut'ah is halal, he says to the Sheikh, okay, I'll do mut'ah with your daughter. I mean, what a despicable... You see, that's like saying, oh, just because you believe nikah is halal, getting married is halal, okay, marry me your daughter because you believe in the concept. I mean, what a dumb statement. I mean, it's like, is that how you argue? Oh, so you believe this is halal, so, okay, let me do this with that's... So that guy says to him that, look, he says that, he responds by saying something like, look, first of all, he says that just shows how pathetic you are. And secondly, halal or not, even if this was a regular marriage, he says, I'd never marry my daughter after you. Because he says, you're just an idiot. So the point is that, look, this is not some kind of, truthometer that you measure the truth by saying, oh, if you believe this is okay, all right, so how about... If that's how it worked, it's like, okay, Sheikh, if you believe oral sex is permissible, well, there's only one way to find out if you truly believe it's permissible. Well, so, I mean, this is not how, logic or reasoning works. So well, may the Lord have mercy on us. Lord of mercy. Right, so, people, let's take a look at some other questions. What's going on?